Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be running through Choi Bar. Okay, so we're going to go from beginner all the way to advanced. We're going to run through a bunch of really cool ideas, different setups to help you guys land more Choi Bars in your training and in competition. So I think a great place to start when we're using Choi Bars is from half guard. Okay, ultimately half guard is a great place to start because we can slow our partner down with our hand fighting. Okay, when we're here, a great option is to come out and win a 2-on-1 wrist like so. When I have this 2-on-1 wrist, what I want to think about doing is hiding the escape route of my partner, okay? So anytime I grab my partner's hand like this, he can always circle his hand free. That sucks. So start off by covering the escape route with your hand like so. From here, what I'm going to think about doing is taking my right hand over the escape route of my other hand. So this is a very subtle detail. I want to keep his hand here. And I'm going to think about covering the escape route as I snake my hand in and arm wrestler his arm. Once we're here and I hook around his wrist here, I now think about placing his outer wrist on the outside of my elbow. From here, what I want to think about doing is keeping tension through this joint. From here, typically, we're going to run into a couple of situations. Okay, the first situation is that I'm free to frame his jaw and lift his chin up and bring my shin underneath my man's jaw like this. Once I have this position, I can now think about pushing his head out and away, and then from here, circling over and through his upper body here. Once we're here, I'm thinking about back heeling tightly with my right heel, extending my left leg into the front of the hip, and then from here we have easy access into a strong finish with our armbar. So that was our entry-level idea. Let's look at a little bit more intricate now, okay? So a lot of the time when you're playing this position, you're going to run into the idea of upper body into lower body dilemmas, okay? So what does that even mean? Basically, it means when I try to scoop Jake's body here, okay, a lot of the time, for him to defend this, he's going to put his hand on the floor or put his hand on my chest to try and push his leg away from me. And in these situations, we're going to go into essentially a row drag, okay? So normally a row drag comes out of top position, but anytime he's here posting on me, what I want to think about doing is like swatting his wrist off and rolling his arm like so. So you want to try to think about doing this by going for the leg and he sprawls and scoops it away and offsetting his hand here like so. Now I go immediately back into my tension, pulling this down into my chest, okay? Now, there will be times where he keeps his head very close to the inside of my body here, and now it's going to be hard to bring my frame underneath his shoulder. In these settings, it's not as good, but you certainly can get away with coming up and over your partner's head with your hamstring. So instead of taking this route up and through the jaw here, okay, where you can push his head away, you can occasionally get away, especially if he's like holding my ankle here, with like coming up and over the head with your hamstring and extending. So even if Jake holds my ankle here, when he holds my ankle, if I push my hamstring through, I weaken his grip because it's out behind him. Now again, dropping in, getting to my finish. Another great way to think about getting to this Choi Bar is actually through the use of a knee lever, okay? So ultimately, if I can make my partner off balance out behind me, he's got a lot of ways to catch his balance. So a common idea to think about getting a knee lever is winning a 2-on-1 in this hand, okay? And then I'm going to step my 2 feet to the floor, push my knees into his hip pocket, and make him tip over. And obviously, if I can offset him and make him fall completely, that's great, okay? But a lot of the time, he'll rip this hand free and put his hand on the floor. And when that happens, that becomes my target. And from here, I'm going to look to shoot my chest in, come underneath the shoulder, and I go into this shoulder crunch style position on the other side. From here, I'm going to step on the hip, bring my knee in front of the jaw, and pivot myself out to this side, and then come all the way around for my Choi Bar on the other side. So another very sneaky way, so we're starting to get a little bit more complex now, is we can start to think about playing for this attack anytime I see our partner is on a hip and knee post. This hip and knee post, one of the most common positions in grappling, okay, and you can learn to punish this, okay? So of course we want to think about framing, okay, but what I want to think about doing is once I've got him kind of established here, I'm going to look to actually snake my hand in and pull his elbow up off my knee, okay? So from here he's putting pressure on, he's leaning onto me, I'm going to think about snaking this in and stepping right here on my partner's far hip. Now I want to break this elbow down to my chest. You can see I've started to compromise his upper body position. Now from here, I just drop this right in here. Okay, from here, I turn my body over, take him into my hip, get to my finish. A very sneaky trap. Not a lot of people are going to see coming, and they're going to be thinking, oh, I'm getting a free guard pass. Next minute, he gets yoinked. Okay, so now, guys, sometimes what will happen is you'll start to run around to north-south and start to take these reverse V-grips here, okay? And when we're in this position, a really interesting structure, which is quite similar but a little bit different to your conventional Choi Bar, is this reverse Choi grip, okay? Where I start to think about framing the knee and snaking my hand in here like so. What ends up happening now is I can start to think about kinking his upper arm, and this allows me to pull my hips back in. Once I'm here, there's a lot of ways to play this, but broadly speaking, I can think about going heavy on the head, chopping over and through, and as I turn, I end up bringing his pinky towards my bottom hip, where now I turn him over, get to my finish. when I'm playing out of the K-guard structure, so I'm kind of like here, a lot of the time when I'm playing from K-guard, I want to think about offsetting my partner's upper body and then firing my left leg over and through into this K-guard 50-50 sort of kind of textbook play of K-guard basically, right? So oftentimes when I'm here, he's going to be holding my ankle to try to mitigate me going to these attacks, okay? Now, a lot of people know about coming in and getting to this shotgun arm lock, okay, which is definitely sick, but another very interesting way of playing this position is off his cross grip. So when he cross grips me here, now the shotgun arm bar is gone, okay? And it's kind of Choi-ish, but I kind of think it just fits really cool, is the idea of coming inverted and then getting to this grip here. Now from here, I can look to use this to offset him, make him post a hand and go into triangles from here, which is really cool. But you can also obviously use this grip the same way we did earlier, where I drop this over and through and look to invert his pinky up to the sky and then take him over my hip for my finish. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you want to see next and stay tuned for the next one.